Hello, my YouTubers. How are you all today? I hope you had a wonderful day. I wanted to make this video and talk about my experience as I've been traveling. I've been in Merida, Mexico now for about 9 months, and soon I will be finishing up my dental plan, the last phase of having 6 implants put in, and I've had a wonderful dentist, and so it's almost over, and it's time for me to go on to my next adventure. So as it stands right now, I will be going to Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, for about a month just to check it out. And one of the reasons why I'm staying in the Latin American area is because I have family that I want to be close to right now. However, as time goes on, I will be venturing out to other places that may be further away. I've heard a lot about Bali. I've heard a lot about Thailand in terms of how you are treated, especially as a Black person, especially as a Black woman, which is obviously what I am, a Black woman that happens to be traveling solo. I'm a solo traveler, and I encourage those of you who are Black women that are doing solo travel, keep it up. I applaud you. And for those of you who are considering becoming an expat to travel to other countries, don't let fear stop you from achieving your goals and your dreams. So the question that I get a lot is, well, how is Merida? How is Mexico? How is the places? How are they? How are you treated in these places that you visit? Well, I can tell you that here in Merida, Mexico, I'm treated very well. I'm treated with respect. My Blackness is not a problem for anybody. They don't see me as a threat. I feel very comfortable and I feel very safe. Do I sometimes feel like I'm paying more for products or services? Maybe, but that's because I am an American, and sometimes people may want to take advantage of you as an American because they may think that you have money. But I would always say that whatever it is that you're trying to purchase, to research, find out how much it costs, and learn some Spanish so that you can communicate with the vendors and other people. So all in all, I've had a wonderful time here in Merida, Mexico. I've enjoyed the food. I've enjoyed the culture. I've enjoyed the communities. And I especially am grateful to the doctors that I have. They have excellent health care. My dentist and also my family doctor. And the prescriptions cost a hell of a lot less than they would in the United States. And so when we as Black people are trying to do the great migration, the great escape from all of the shiggity that's going on in America, is you really want to know, well, where can I go where I will be treated the best, where I will be comfortable? So like I said, I've enjoyed Merida, Mexico. But now let me talk about a little bit about Lima, Peru. I went to Lima, Peru, and I stayed for about 10 days, and I stayed in 2 different neighborhoods. The first neighborhood was very residential, and the people kind of looked at me strange as I walked through the parks, as I walked to the different shops. I kind of got strange looks. I wasn't quite sure what that was about, but me being my friendly self, I'm always saying buenos dias, buenas tardes. I'm always reaching out to people, having that positive energy. Now, then I moved to another area that was a lot busier, a lot more people. And what I did not see was a lot of us in professional positions moving through the busy streets of Miraflores. Stayed on, I think it was Avenue Jose Padre, which was a very, very busy street full of buses and cars and taxis and people moving because it was the financial district. But rarely did I see anybody that looked like me dressed professionally on their way to work. I went to several cafes, several restaurants, and the people were cordial. They were very nice, and so I enjoyed that part of it. But one question that I kept getting a lot, and it was the tone in which the question was presented, and that was, where are you from? 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 And I was curious as to why I was getting that question. And so at one point I asked my Uber driver, was that a standard question that one could expect in Lima, Peru as a black person? His answer to me was that the Uber drivers may ask that question so that they would know what language to speak, whether German or French or English. But most of them didn't speak any other foreign language but Spanish, unless they were not telling the truth. I can't speak on that. But I was curious as to why I kept getting that question. And I came to realize that Lima, Peru is a place that you go to as a tourist, as an American, as a black American. If you're interested in going to Machu Picchu, you want to go to the mountains, you want to do hiking, that's why people go to Lima, Peru. And that was not something that was top of my priority list, although I did want to go to Machu Picchu, but it just didn't work out that way. And I never got there. So I pretty much stayed in the neighborhoods where I could experience the great food, the drinks. I took a cooking class, but I did not feel as comfortable in Lima, Peru as I do here in Merida, Mexico. Now we know that Latin American countries, South American countries had African slaves in the 1600s and the 1700s. And what has happened is that they were marginalized. They were not given the same opportunities as the ones who had European background, where the Europeans, the Spanish, made it with the locals, and they created a whole different race of people called mestizos. And so even though there are Afro-Peruvians in Lima, Peru, they pretty much have blended in with the main society, the main group of people. And in America, we used to call that passing. Okay, so they may have Afro genetics or Afro genes, but because if you are considered an African, you have less opportunities than other people. And so there are specific communities in Lima, Peru, where African Peruvians live, but that's not so much so in more upscale neighborhoods like Miraflores. And so therefore, when they see somebody like me, an American tourist, I mean, I look nice, I dress nice, I'm happy. It's to them, it's almost like an anomaly. So therefore, the question is, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? We haven't seen anybody like you around here. And it made me feel a little uncomfortable. But that's just me. Someone else may feel okay living in Lima, Peru. I did a video on the cost of living, how much it would cost for you to, as a retiree, to live in Lima. you can go and check that video out. But for me, because I am who I am, a solo traveler at 72, I want to feel comfortable in my skin. I want to feel comfortable in my environment. I want to feel comfortable in the community. And Lima, Peru just did not do it for me. Again, if I was strictly a tourist and I wanted to walk the Malacan and visit the museums and go see Machu Picchu, then a quick trip in and out would have been fine. But I was looking at Lima as a possible place to stay for a while, a couple of months, maybe 3 months. But after my experience of being there for 10 days, I would say that Lima, Peru was not the place for me, okay? It might be for you, but it wasn't for me. So thank you. I appreciate you listening, all right? Peace out.